we are on CAO's written report.
My report is actually on page 108.
We'll get a motion first. Can we get a motion on this? Councillor Stenhouse, thank you.
That council received the CAO's Brian Martinson's action list for information.
Thank you. All right, you were going to.
As you can see from the meeting tonight, we got 3 more microphones located in our chamber, which will help somewhat again. Other than that, I did get a call today from the CARES grant people, and they were requesting some more information from me on the application, and what they wanted was confirmation that we had funding for our portion of the CARES grant. So I think it was like $18,000 or something. So I couldn't remember whether council had made a motion,
We did, I think, last.
but I'll check. So
But it was during the special
I'll
meeting.
I'm going to send her that motion, but she also said that because Big Lakes County was our partner, they wanted their motion also, that they had funds to fund the
The other
branding or
Yeah.
the promotion of. So
That's promising, yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't written it off.
no. So I chatted the lady up quite a bit, and she was laughing by the time I had her done, and it was all good. So she gave me till December 5th or something like that to get the information back to her. So I had called Jordan, but he didn't return my call this afternoon. So any other questions regarding the report?
Councillor Gilroy?
Any news from our engineering firm on the grant that we helped them apply for the Tim Hortons intersection?
No, actually, what I did was I had contacted Danny Jung, the engineer, but he was out at the RMA with the county, and what's the other?
Ryan?
Oh, it was Ryan. And Danny Jung called me back, and I asked him to send me an email so I could forward on to council so that you guys were all informed of where we're at, because I told him that we had discussed that that since the speed limit has lowered, there would be no more further requirements of the upgrade of the intersection until that time that development warranted in that area, and they required another traffic impact assessment. So he was aware of that because he had talked to Ryan about it. So
And I thought we were asking Ryan for something in writing. to
that's
that
why I
effect,
asked
so
him
he
to
will be
send me
doing
an
that.
email.
Anything happening on the other side with Husky?
With Husky, we are currently doing the development permit application. So part of the development permit application is a letter of credit to ensure that they do the works and that. And we have received their plans and that.
Do they have permission for that bird transport?
Yes, they do. Yep. So we're just working on the development agreement right now and the letter of credit. So hopefully some more tax space for the town.
Any other questions for? I had just a couple of comments. One is we got the letter on congratulations from or appreciation from McLennan.
Oh, yes.
So I'd like to just, congratulate Mike Denty and his crew for the help or support that
Yes.
they gave them. That was awesome. and just wanted to follow up on a couple of these motions here. There was one, we had talked about on page 104, motion 13518 about the Joint Assessment Review Board. Is there anything happening on that, or is that
I haven't heard nothing back from the county yet.
Okay.
So,
because that should be moving ahead, right?
Yes.
Like it just hasn't been formally formed, or they're waiting on others, or what's?
I heard back from, because we also contacted the town of Slate Lake,
Yeah.
and they were interested in also
Oh, okay.
finding out more particulars. But until I hear back from these other guys in meeting with the county, I guess it's kind of limbo right now.
The other one is just below that was and it's marked as completed, the 140,000 for the airport. Has that all been done?
No, they didn't acquire the land, so the runway extension is no more.
Oh, I haven't heard that. Oh.
Yes, somebody else had bought the next
Quarter.
quarter, so the runway extension
can't
is
go.
not going.
What about the upgrading of the road and the repaving of the existing?
Which road was that?
The access road into the airport, plus they were gonna repave the existing.
I haven't heard.
That wasn't done.
I haven't heard. No.
So this is marked as completed because what happened that you?
Because of the runway extension, because of
Oh,
the land
okay.
sale.
Okay.
They can't extend it, so.
Okay, and then on page 105, we had that motion, and I don't know if you found out anything. It was 48018 with regards to the lights. We had put aside 21,750 for the lights at the pool.
That was just for the aquatic center?
It is just
Just
for
for the aquatic center, yes.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. Pardon me? Yes.
Well, the total cost on this was basically our half minus the grant. So the total cost was 73,000, I think, and they got an $8,000 or $9,000 grant, and then the rest had to come from the town and the county. So they didn't get much of a grant to do that. It's a pretty big hit, and that's why we were thinking that's a lot of money just to do the pool.
We thought it was all three.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking, and there was nobody there to clarify it at the time.
No, I
No.
remember the original conversation because that would have been at a board meeting. But everything drags so long, it takes forever to get to the point. But I know we had gotten a couple different quotes, and they were both very similar. One was local, one was from out of the area. I'm trying to remember why they were high. I know they thought that, and the quotes had the deductions based on what they felt that
I know the lights in talking with Lori in the aquatic center were actually over the pool. So they were waiting for the shutdown to change them out. But the grant or whatever, the timing wasn't right or something. So she didn't think it was gonna get done or something.
oh, they were going to get them.
I don't know.
According to the motion, it can't be done. Because it says contingent on all three facilities receiving said funds to replace lighting.
Well, that's right, there was a contingency
Yep.
based on.
And approval is also contingent on Big Lakes County approving the release of funds for the same.
The grant was approved, but it wasn't for much. It was like
But our
10,000.
our 21,000 was approved.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sliding away.
It wasn't going very fast.
So our
So I mean, if you're looking at it that way, and this is the middle of the shutdown for the pool, how can they do the lights if our money's not to be released because we've made a contingent on all three facilities receiving said funds?
You know, I was at the pool today and I didn't think to look at it at the time, but they're already starting to refill the pool.
They
So
started yesterday.
that's, yeah, so they obviously, if they've changed them,
They haven't changed.
they
Yeah,
didn't.
so we'll have to look into that and report back.
Yeah, they'll have to find out what's going on with that, yeah.
I think actually Lori phoned and said that she knew somebody, or she got a hold of somebody and said that they were approved for the pool, the aquatic center, because of the timing, but she didn't know about the other two facilities.
Yeah, I know
I
we're trying
think-
to push that grant application, and we actually involved Danielle to see if.
I think that's what she did. She went over here and asked.
Because of the timeliness of the shutdown. So
Yes.
there might have been a partial approval on that, of just the pool, or of just the pool portion. Because they dragged their feet on the whole grant, like we applied how long ago, and they hadn't answered, so maybe that's.
Well,
It still seems lesser than, but at $9,000 of the grant, out of the 22, but you're saying it was.
No, it was 73,000 was what we had in our last agenda package, and there was 10,000 in grants, so we would have had half of that, so maybe it wasn't quite 73. What was
So
it?
it was 43, our half was 21. And
Right.
we would get $4,700 back.
40, but where's the grant? Oh, that was part of it?
That was just
Oh,
the
okay.
motion that was out there.
That was
It had
43.
there was nothing about grants or anything. It was just, were we willing to spend $43,000 and our half would be 21
Oh, it was
something.
43. Okay. So that was the grant wasn't out of that amount. Oh, okay.
And council basically questioned that amount for one place. They thought it was for all three. And that's why the contingent was put on there, because no one had an answer for us.
Okay. Okay, so that doesn't sound like it was done, and we don't know anything more. And last questions was, I just wanted to go to our strategic planning sheet, and I'm looking at, prizes and awards for the best home that the town wanted to do. We had one for Halloween, and then we had one for Christmas. Do we have is council or the town doing a best decorated house for Christmas? That was in our,
I thought that was part of I thought that was beautification that did that.
yeah, so I'm just wondering why it was on our list. That's what I
I thought
thought.
beautification did homes, and the chamber was going to be asked to do businesses. That's what I think.
Yeah,
Could
Christmas somehow snuck in there. It was only.
That's what I was kind of
Well,
thinking.
Halloween, there's only
No,
Halloween.
we were going to try and put both together with, try to get beautification to both at one point.
No, we're talking about the town.
I know, but we're going to try and approach them and see if they would do both for us.
Yeah, but on ours, it says Christmas and Christmas was never done.
Okay, so that was probably more just the typing error, is not really saying that we're going to do Christmas. It was more best home at Halloween, and we did that, which was good. Okay. And then we had on November 30th, Councillor Gilroy was going to give us an update on the artwork for the light posts.
And we do have somewhat an update on that.
Okay.
And of course, Chief Melnick had to leave before I did this. We've had a couple of suggestions, and actually beautification is going to actually help come up with more suggestions, because of they've come up with something other than metalwork. We couldn't get a lot of people to agree on metalwork, such as you would have in McLennan or Slave Lake with the pictures, because they couldn't think of a lot of things that were specifically High Prairie, except for the rodeo. So some of them, one of the suggestions that beautification came up with, and they're going to work on it with us, and we did do a presentation to them, is possibly in some towns they do sort of have the kids draw some sort of banner that you can put around there so that when the kids come, there's a sense of pride saying, I drew that. So we're still looking into that and beautification. Once they get finished with light up, we're going to be talking about that more and come back with a better, a more full report to council on this. But we have been working on it.
Shouldn't this artwork reflect the new branding? Or decorating of the light posts, shouldn't that reflect the new branding and logos?
Not necessarily. No.
But it might also. It could, absolutely it could, but it doesn't have to.
Well, if we're gonna go with the theme, should we stick with that theme?
I got a dead deer. I put its head up there. That was,
There's the thing.
that was the
High Prairie
proposed
Deer
logo,
Community.
wasn't it? A deer head?
A deer head, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a deer head, yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know how many deer heads you want.
I'm sure we'd get lots of people offering.
I don't know if council knows, but the beautification committee had started to put some new decorations on the 6 main lamp poles going right where the parade road is going to go. And what they did is they made it out of conduit and they made it look like a box
Christmas
with
present.
a hanger. Yeah, it was like a Christmas present, but they decorated just the tubing on the plastic tubing, and they look actually pretty good. But they tried 6 for this year, and if they get a good response, I think they're going to look at building some more. The big thing is going to be storage, because they're like that big, so storage you're going to need.
Why can they stay up here round?
Christmas decorations all year round,
Well, it depends what our new logo is.
There you go.
with a deer head in the middle.
Yeah.
I did find the lighting proposal, if anybody wants an update on
Sure.
answer to that question. Because the entire quote that we approved and brought forward to council was for the arena interior, arena exterior, auditorium, pool interior, pool exterior, and that was with the rebate that we assumed we would be getting was a total of $77,000. So the number that you guys are throwing out isn't just the pool; it's the entire project. The pool number looks like it's 28,000 minus a rebate of 9.
Oh, so 28 minus 9, so it's 19,000. So now we're looking at 10,000 each, which is very reasonable, right? Or much more
Just so
reasonable.
everybody has a better picture of that in their mind.
Much more reasonable, yeah.
So that
But
77
that's-
is the entire, all of the recreation facilities.
Yeah.
See, that's what Arlen was trying to say.
That he couldn't pull up on his phone.
Yeah.
Because we don't have.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gone Brian's report. Any other questions? Seeing none, we had a motion to receive his report for information. All those in favor? Carried. Moving on to the FCSS report. Motion? Anyone?
Okay.
Okay.
The council receives the October 2018 report from FCSS for information.
All right. Any questions on this report? I had one, and it's just, I was looking at this, that we have a total, office total of 129 visits, or 129 contacts, and down below it has so many phone contacts, so many emails, so many walk-ins, and so many appointments. Should those add up to be the same, should they add up to be 129, or what's those numbers at the bottom?
I think those are extra numbers. Because if you look at the report, they're doing paperwork, and these are appointments where somebody come in to get their pension filled out or their grant or their taxes, where the other ones were I'm not sure.
appointments and walk-ins.
But 94 plus 35. Right? That's
It's 129, as a total of 129 contacts. And then I was thinking that the numbers below should add up to 129 too.
you can.
Okay, just
I think it says.
just that. Yeah. She was making stuff up as she went. Yeah. Okay.
Well, it says office total 129. I'm thinking a walk-in separate.
Well, because these are appointments, like they phone and say, I wanna come, I need help to do my taxes.
But they could be a walk-in versus an appointment too. Or it could be a phone discussion on taxes or something too. That's why I thought they should add up for match, but not really all that important. Any other questions on this report? Seeing none, we have motion to receive for information. All those in favor? Carried.
Just a reminder though, for more clarity, Louise has sent our monthly report or quarterly report and before we get started, something else, and we get some more, but might be a little better if we do.
Okay, we have another, this is our edition, the Northern Leaders Summit. And this was one of the late edition, but because it's happening on December 13th, we needed to, and we have to confirm who's attending. I asked Brian to add it to the agenda. And basically on the 13th,
That's our council meeting, is that? Is there next
Council meeting's the day before.
the day
Council meeting's 11th.
11th? Okay.
11th, yeah. Yeah, this is a Thursday.
10,
This
council
is
11. This is the 12th.
this is the 13th.
13th.
So it's the
Night
Thursday.
Oh, it says 12th on there.
Oh, it should be the 13th. That
There,
might.
no,
The thing is, it's 13th, but there's also a
Evening with Shay
Networking
Anderson.
Oh,
on the 12th with,
okay.
the one that's
Yep.
still there. Shay Anderson's going to be there.
Well, yeah. Well, and they're going to have the premier will be there. Some of the other ministers they said would be there. So it looks like a good networking kind of event. I am not able to go, so I don't know if anybody else is
What
able
is-
to go.
Have you checked with Arn?
I did check with Councillor Courtley. He is not able to go. So I don't know if anybody else is able to go, but I thought Councillor Stenhouse.
Can we, could we just leave it open then? Do we actually have to put a name in there? Could we just leave it open?
Well,
I think they want
yeah,
confirmation, eh?
they want a confirmation
Oh,
of
right,
who's
yeah.
going to be there.
I'll,
and all that.
Oh.
Yeah,
Security check.
security.
I'll go if no one else can go.
Okay,
I'll
sure.
volunteer to be the councillor.
Okay.
Because it's worth going to see these particular leaders and networking for the election.
Okay.
And after the election, who knows?
Okay, is there anyone else want to go, or can, I don't know, if there's more, then we have to flip a coin or something, but I don't know.
Donna?
Donna's not in. Judy, are you interested, or she's grimacing? Debbie, are you able to go, or you want to go, or not?
Councilor Gilroy would like to go.
Okay,
I can go.
all right. Okay, so we need a motion then.
That council approved Councillor Gilroy to attend the 2018 Northern Leaders Summit in Slave Lake, Alberta.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed?
Judy, you're opposed.
We're
You
getting
wanna
all
go?
kinds of weird votes tonight.
It's not like I'm going to, it's not
I
like
think
I'm
he
going to
wants to
Lake
go.
Louise.
Can we
It's
send
far
2
away.
people?
No, I don't think so.
Only one?
That
Okay.
good, yeah. Okay, moving on to our written and verbal reports. Councillor Danaka. Councillor Gilroy.
Just a verbal report, and actually it is a kudos to the library. They had an awesome children's Christmas party. I had the privilege of being there, and it was very, very well attended, and the staff was amazing. So I just want to give extra kudos to the library for that one. That's the main one I want to recognize because that's the one that really sticks out of my mind the most. But as I said during the break, if anybody has any, if you have any questions you want me to ask at MMSA, their meeting is Friday of this week, and I will be glad to take any concerns from this council to them if you email me it. I will be glad to bring it all up. Okay. I move my verbal report for information.
Any questions for him? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Over to my report. I sent out the report by email yesterday. So I guess I see. Yeah, you put it.
I printed it. Give it to everybody.
Yeah, thank you for that. Just a couple of comments. Like Heart River Housing, you can see that the budget isn't finalized, but they're looking at between a 1.5% and 2% increase in requisitions overall. The presentation at Tulco went good. Overall, we presented them with the license or the new sign. They like their street sign, yeah. RMA, I found it, that was the first RMA, very similar to AUMA. They have all the same things, and we got to see a lot of the same ministers, and was really good that way. And got to attend a couple of the other stuff. There was also one of the things that I didn't put in here, but there was they made an announcement at RMA that there's money if communities want to get into generating power and selling it back to the grid. So if you do between 5 and 25 kilowatt hours or megawatt, I'm not sure what the terminology, but in there you can sell back to the grid. They've allowed that to happen, and there's some grants to make that happen. So I don't know if we want to look into that, but that was an announcement that they made at RMA. We had a meeting yesterday with the couple of consultants that were hired by the province to look at exploring the interest in a new RETA in the area. We talked to them, and they're talking with other interest groups in the region and are going to be making some recommendations to the government from all of that. And I made sort of presentations at the Aquatic Center today. So that was good. Just a picture. They got 2 awards. One for having the highest sort of sales in swimming lessons and training. So that was good. And another one which was for, I forget, it was kind of a service or being able to help vulnerable people in the region. And I think it was more because they had done some programming with indigenous people.
That was one that had to be nominated for, and they feel like they were nominated for the Red Cross rep that was doing their audit.
Oh, okay, yeah. So any questions on that? And then I have some other things to bring up, but I'll end with sort of what I've been doing. And okay.
So my question is the economic development meeting.
Yep.
So do we actually have an economic development committee or whatever?
No.
Okay. But there has been economic development meetings.
Okay. Has there?
Well,
Like
on the 26th, there was an economic development.
November 26th?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was talking about. It wasn't a meeting on economic development. It was a meeting on whether there should be an economic development
okay.
committee meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so changing topics then. We need a date to do our CAO review. And I know we haven't have you guys been getting the reminders to do it? I'm not sure who's done it and who hasn't, but I know we only had 3 people actually finish the review, so. Yeah. Well, you don't know. So we need to, number one, finish that if you haven't done that. But we also need to pick a date where we're going to go over this with Brian and do the review.
December 25th is good.
So, yeah.
Yes, right there. Brian's house.
So is there a date when, because I think number one, we should be, after all of the surveys are filled in, then we should be getting together as a council to go over it and what we've got, make sure we're all on the same page, and then we can bring Brian in and review it with him and share all of the results at that time.
Is there a time limit? Like, does this have to be done by a certain?
Yeah, well, it should have been done.
My
within
anniversary
a
date
year.
was October 5th,
Yeah,
so, but it's not.
we're a little bit
So we
behind.
really need everybody here though for that.
Well, at least everybody should fill in the survey, right?
Actually, I was going to say that she's done a fantastic job. I think we got like 55 reminders last month. So you haven't got it done by now.
That was him. It wasn't me.
What's that?
I said I didn't send the
All the
reminders.
reminders. What came from? What's happening here?
I program them into the software and just say, send out reminders. If they haven't got them done, send them out, send them out. Oh, yeah, I'm getting a call. Okay, so we need a date. Let's start with that. Probably wouldn't take all that long, but like I said, this week is pretty much written off because Donna said tomorrow night isn't good. So then we had,
Gotta do it before the next council meeting.
well,
Like 6.
Yeah, because it's budget time, we need to get this done.
yeah, we need to have it done. We could do it at 6 o'clock on the 11th, if that works. Or early on the 10th, we could do it then too. Before the budget meeting.
Usually, how long did it take us to do the last one? Was it like an hour or 2 hours?
It's usually about an hour because we go through everything, takes 15, 20 minutes, and then bring Brian in and have a talk.
I really don't like piling meetings on top of meetings because you're sort of focused on council and then you gotta change, so I prefer a separate meeting.
Okay?
That's just my preference.
Okay.
What's the 12th?
Well, the 12th isn't, that's a Wednesday.
I got a meeting in Grimshaw that day.
Yeah, and I've got commitments that night.
In the evening, I'll be going to
Oh, yeah, that's right, too.
Northern
Yeah.
Leaders Summit.
Yeah.
Just time to- I'm not gonna-
Well, there's two things, like you don't have to go to the reception per se, right? More I think the next day. Yeah, the next day, the 13th is the critical part. So the 13th is not really good for me. Do we?
Next week, the 18th or something.
Yeah, we don't want to go to, okay, so
Don't forget that's budget time.
17th or 18th?
Yeah, I know, but it's not gonna end it.
I'm gonna try 18th as a Tuesday, and we've sort of set aside Tuesdays better than,
Okay, does the 18th work for people?
works for me.
You know what? We need to get it done.
Okay,
Why don't we do a CEO evaluation and
and what?
Christmas stuff.
right, is that
Oh,
what we do?
when's the town party?
The 7th.
What time? Are we invited to the town party?
Not this year.
No?
Oh, we
I
don't.
didn't see anything this year about it.
Yeah, we're not invited, so we
Really?
can just do our own, like just have.
I planned on going this year. And they're not gonna invite us.
Actually, I wouldn't be at the town party anyway. The 7th.
Bowling. Out to another.
Okay, so we're going with the 18th?
Yeah.
We're good with it.
Christmas party.
Yeah, we can work on that, but let's nail down the 18th for the CAO review date. December 18th at 7 o'clock.
Well, that's after supper though.
Well, we can change that at the next council meeting if we want to do something different, but at least put that in there for now. And maybe we'll do something different. The other thing that came in was in my mailbox. Was a
Good question.
collaboration to lobby for dialysis. Did you guys get that in your email too? Or that just in mine?
That was given to everybody.
Oh, this was given to everybody. This was the High Prairie District Community Health Foundation wants to lobby as a unified voice with the various stakeholders in dialysis. And they've asked if we want to participate in that unified voice. I just want to get your guys' feedback, and then we can respond to this group.
Just to let council know, I asked George if he wanted me to put this on this agenda, and he said no. He said it's basically Debbie's on that board already, but he asked for the mayor to also be part of that board, to go to the city with our Indigenous neighbors to lobby the government. So, along with Ladies Auxiliary and that. And I think the big thing was to get everybody together so that they're all talking apples to apples, oranges to oranges, because I believe the Ladies Auxiliary are looking at something a little bit altered to what the rest of the committee was formed to look at. So
Yeah, so just a little more than like what Brian's saying is totally accurate. It was just the opportunity to, once we got some reporting back to the foundation on what was happening, what George was doing as a lobbyist, what Diana, who is part of the Ladies Auxiliary, was doing. They were talking to different people and they were kind of having different messages. And Ken and I talked about what the town and the county were doing, and that's when we made the decision to, let's see if we can unify this voice, because we have a lot of statistics and a lot of information that if we put it all together and try to then bring in some of the Indigenous partners and maybe make a meeting date and actually have a concerted lobby effort. So that's what that letter was all about. Okay. Just so council sort of knew what was the direction.
So we'd be all right with meeting as a unified voice, right? I don't see any.
As the alternate on that committee, I'm all for it.
Okay, so that was it. I just wanted to get a feel if we were in support of that. The other thing I wanted to got a phone call. Was it yesterday from Will? Yeah. He, and I got to run this by, I said I'd run it by council, he wants to put on a seminar on how to safely grow your marijuana plants at home. His name is Will Klein. He was, when we started chatting, he was at the open house forum. Yes, he was the older hippie dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He wants to put on a workshop to make sure people are putting on and growing their marijuana safe and making sure there's no black mold and, making sure those things are safe.
I think we should stay completely out of that.
Well,
It's private industry, and it's.
What's it gonna cost?
He wants us to pay him $1,000.
Oh, no, we can go.
If he
right
wants to
that
put
place.
it on, that's fine, but
Yeah.
it's not up to council to
That's right.
Why doesn't he get the shops?
Grow their pot.
if he wants so badly, get the shops that have been authorized to sell it to then be involved, have that community deal with it.
If people are gonna grow it, they either know how to, or they're gonna research it. They're not just gonna plant 4 pots and water it and go, okay.
Okay.
It doesn't look perfect, fine, it's just
Yeah.
a seed, right?
And just to add to that, one of the other little twists in this is that as part of that workshop, and when I was talking with him, he plans to promote his business, which is building stuff. And I went, well, that's you want us to pay for
We
you
pay
to
for his
advertise.
promotion.
So I didn't really think it was a good idea, but I did say I would bring it back to you guys to find out. Okay, I got a good feel. I can let him know that this isn't something. He says that Grand Prairie is very interested in it, and Slave Lake is very interested in having him do it. We're not. Okay. Okay.
They may be interested, yeah, but not at a cost to the county council.
Yeah. Okay. And the other thing, and I don't think everybody got a copy of this in their mailbox, so I thought I would just share that they're advertising to nominate an exceptional educator today. If you know of somebody you want to nominate, there's a program going on, and because it was just in my mailbox, I wanted to make sure everybody's safe.
That you want us to nominate you?
No, but I just thought I would share this if you know of somebody else you want to nominate. Absolutely. This is a federal government program. I'll send that down to them. So there you go. And if you, I know Brian, you go to the schools, you could put it up there. Maybe they'll put it up. But anyways, that was in my mailbox. Figured I should share it.
But does it have to be a teacher?
I don't know anything more than what's there.
Get them to call and look into
Huh?
it.
Yeah.
You can look into it. Well, an educator, right? So
Yeah,
I guess if they're gonna define on the website the definition of an educator,
Yeah.
maybe there's more
Like
information on
teacher, you think of as they,
There's somebody working in a school, but there's
Yeah.
all kinds of.
well, lots of college, they don't consider them
teach every
teachers.
day.
So there you go.
Like pharmacists and
Wow.
public health nurses.
Uh,
They teach every day. how
Okay,
to-
teaching excellence, there you go. Put them on that. See what happens.
Okay, that was all from my report. I move my report for information. Any other questions before I close? All in favor? Carried. All right, moving on to Councillor Courtley. Or, sorry, Councillor Rose now.
I have a written report on the ARPA, if anybody has any questions on that. Otherwise, for some reason, the actual council report didn't get there, so I'll send it to you for the next time. I mean, I had trouble with that one, so I don't know what happened, maybe it didn't get attached. But I will share with you guys, two things. One, I'll give you a little branding update. So we, had a teleconference the other day with, Paul, the consultant. It's been a month since we heard from him, and a month ago he said he needed a couple weeks to tweak the logos, add some color. One of our challenges is that we made all the logos in burgundy and the same color as the original logo, and we're having a hard time sort of visualizing what they look like. So it was changing the color, tweaking some of the logos that he had originally designed, but he used a whole bunch of different designers, and his idea was he was going to present them and we were going to develop one, and we wouldn't have to go back and get them fixed. Well, nobody loved any of them really lots. They said, this one's okay, but I want it this way, and this one's okay, can we change this? So it's taken him some time because he lost some of his designers, and he had to hire more designers, so we're dealing with that. He said now that, he should get something to us by, it was either late this week or next week, and he did yesterday send us one of the logos colorized differently, which actually did exactly what we hoped it was gonna do, which was impact it differently. So the burgundy gone, and now we're looking at different colors, and it did make a big difference in the visual. Like even Brian, you looked at it and thought, okay, well there you go, like it looks better because they changed the road. So there's some progress. He's gonna get us the, hopefully by next week, he'll get us those changes. There's 3 logos we're looking at with 3 different taglines. Once he brings them to us, we're gonna have one more meeting with the committee, just to sort of prove that that's what they wanted, that he actually did what they wanted, and have the opportunity then to launch it online and do a survey with the community to see what the community thinks of the taglines and the logos.
Should we be bringing it to council before we put it out on there?
Yes, there's probably that step, eh?
Yeah, just because what if council doesn't like any of these options?
So what we could do is, as soon as they come out, because we'll maybe, if we want to try to get it done in a timely way and not have to wait for a council meeting, we may be able to just forward it to everybody via email, because it is a visual and you would want it in color and,
If it's late next week, that's December 7th.
well, it was supposed to be late this week, and it didn't,
Well,
so maybe it's early next week.
That's what it's saying, because then if you look at that over the weekend, we can look at it and deal with it either Monday or Tuesday.
All right, we can just put it on the next agenda too, it's not a big deal, and you know what, this guy is not gonna farm, or, sorry, I'm gonna go, but it could take that long anyway for us to get it from him. And if it does, then putting it on an agenda, so yeah, we'll skip I've been excited to get it out to the community.
And then you take it back to the rebranding committee?
Well, as soon as we get the copy from Paul,
Yeah.
we'll have a rebranding committee meeting.
And
They
then
can make a recommendation to this council, and that's how we'll go. And after it comes to this council, if you guys are okay with that, then we'll launch it on social media, website, newspaper. Yeah, then we have to.
So did
Well-
he do anything with what you had sent him? Just
No.
the lettering?
No, not yet.
Not going
He's going to.
Oh, he is?
So I did, that's it. So I
Okay.
did, I met with, Marion and Brian and myself, and we did this teleconference thing,
Yeah.
just to sort of kickstart it again. And, it did work kickstarted, so that's good, because it was like 2 days later and we finally got
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
came out. But he's looking for a new designer to do the lettering one.
Okay.
So, yeah, so he's close to doing something.
We just don't want to give the impression to the community that they're choosing the new one. And so it's really good that we look at it beforehand before we even put it out there to social media.
Yeah, no, for sure, and that's fine. And then the other, update, and I'll report a little bit more on it, is I spent all day 6 hours today in the Legion at, the IDP meetings. And, the only thing I'll mention on that is that there is a survey, and I'll try to forward you guys the survey if nobody knows where to find the survey, to do the survey. So you guys can have your own, opportunity to, participate in what the IDP process may look like to you, and maybe then we can even share it around a little bit more so we can get more community involvement, and what sort of land planning we'd like to do collaboratively with the county, right? What do our boundaries look like?
Where is the survey now?
I don't know, I'm trying to find it. They told me about the survey, they asked if I did it, and I didn't know about the survey.
Okay, because if we can get it on I'm on the radio Thursday morning, and I'll tell people to do it. If we can get a link onto our town website, I can tell them to go there.
The county knows, so I don't figure it out quickly.
I missed a lot while I was gone.
So yeah, write that down, talk to the county, talk to Pat about the survey, and, that, make sure that we can at least get that to Brian if I don't get it to him in time. But, yeah, I was just gonna try to fish around and figure out, I'm sure it's not hiding
About
too
the
deep.
east side or something?
Yeah, it'll probably be on the county site, or maybe they've even shared it on Facebook on
Yeah.
theirs, you don't know.
I never seen it.
I don't remember seeing it, that's why I said, no, I didn't do the
I
survey.
never seen
You
anything.
see it on our website,
It's on their website?
on ours.
Their website
It's on our
saying-
website?
Yeah, so it looks
There
like.
is stuff about,
It's on our website.
Oh,
it's on our website. Oh, okay, well.
okay,
learning about
it's on our
that.
website. Perfect.
There we go.
All I saw was Marion's share about saying the IDP from 5 to 7. That's the only thing I
I don't
seen.
even, okay.
Okay, it's on our
Yeah, so there
website.
was a workshop today from 11 till 2, as well as the 5 to 7. each group's recommendation on what did the boundaries look like for our community. So this survey will just expand that.
There was no High Prairie residents at the meeting. Just county. I know, but it's, cause you're on that committee, that's why.
That's right, there was no residents of High Prairie that seemed to be concerned by.
Cause they have no concerns, cause it reflects everything in the county, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we dealt with all those, a lot of the concerns, and actually it was good because there was people that were there like really thinking it was about annexation and really concerned about the impact to their land, and their fears were relieved a little bit, and once the process was completed today, they left thinking, okay, it really is just, what are the boundaries to communicate development? Because, I mean, development's gonna happen way out in Jussard, they don't have to tell the town of High Prairie that's happening, right? Or 10 miles south of town, they don't have to necessarily tell the town of High Prairie, but it's gonna happen 2 miles. And it's on the highway. There's probably some value in having that conversation with the town, so we know what's happening and that there's gonna be, and then what is the impact? Will they have to have both councils approve all development or only certain types of development? So there's a couple stages to it, like first, what are the areas? And second, then what is the impact, or what are we going to expect them to do? If there's going to be a development that's a residential development outside the golf course, what are we,
Declaration.
as a town, are going to expect?
That rock song.
So that's the verbal part of my report, and give you guys a little more written information there. So I moved on report for information unless somebody kind of
She has a timer.
Yeah. No questions? All those in favor? Okay, Councillor Stenhouse, start your timer.
Okay, so for my verbal report, we did a bylaw, reviewed some bylaws. I was also at the IDP meeting this morning, and I'm kind of like a slow learner. This is like my 3rd meeting, and now it's finally clicking in what this is all about. Debbie pretty much covered it. There's a little bit of confusion as to the boundaries and how it affects everybody. What other meeting was I at? I think that, FCSS. FCSS is a really hard committee to report on because it's, it's all confidential stuff, but Louise is what's Louise's title? Director is retiring from FCSS mid-December. Yeah. And that's about all I have to report on. So I moved my verbal report for information.
Councillor Gilroy.
Just a question that either you or Debbie could answer. It's about FCSS since it was brought up. I was approached by people at the Golden Age Club, and it had to do with the bus, and they wanted to know if FCSS had secured a bus driver yet, other than their bus driver that apparently FCSS phoned to get them to join them and go away from the Golden Age. So how's it getting a bus driver to do the new bus with FCSS?
I'll grab that. FCSS doesn't deal with employment or employees. We're just an advisory committee. And for a bus driver, that's his own personal choice where he wants to accept a job. We don't discuss any of that at an FCSS meeting.
I was just bringing up the concern of the community that their bus had, in fact, they hopefully will be coming to a future meeting, because just because of the issue of how many bus drivers can work that way, and so it's just the idea that FCSS asked for a bus. And so the idea here is that if they ask for a bus, I'm just asking if they would have told you that we now have a bus driver. The complaint that I received was that FCSS, after they received their bus, and after saying that
Basically saying FCS called the bus driver that drives with the Golden Age.
after saying that the Golden Age could not fulfill the requirements, they got a bus. This is the community talking, not me. And then the first thing they did is phone the Golden Age bus driver and ask him to come and work for them instead of the Golden Age. And so the concern is that since we're also supporting the Golden Age and we are putting money toward their bus, the concern was, is FCSS working to get a different bus driver, or is there going to be some sort of mixture in there? And you don't have to answer it now, but if you could bring that concern to FCSS, I would appreciate that, so that I can go back to the community member and tell them that our committee members will bring it back to FCSS and figure this out.
You can bring that back to FCS.
That's all I needed to hear. Thank you.
But
We don't dictate who works for
No,
who.
we don't. We can bring it back. But I mean, we can do what Councillor Gilroy asked, which is we can bring it back to the FCSS board, and they can tell us that it's not our role, and there's nothing that we can do about it. So that's what we can do. But just so when you're talking to community members about the reason why, even, and I feel still disappointed that this is what that we have a second bus, and that we had to purchase a second bus, because the Golden Age and FCSS, they couldn't figure out how to work together. No matter what proposal our director put forward to the Golden Age Club in order to work with them, in order to have a seniors bus to transport people for medical appointments and bring them to Grand Prairie to specialist appointments, that agreement couldn't be made. So that's really unfortunate in the first place, that we're in this this situation. So now there's a question of bus driver. That'll probably have little to do with what we can do, but we can certainly bring forward the concern to the committee.
And as councillors, that is our job. When people come to us, we send it to our subcommittee members, who then bring the concern forward, and that way we are answering the concerns of the community. That's all the point we're getting at.
Okay, he moved his report for information.
She did.
Or she did.
She.
looks like it was